John Castano, welcome to the Mentor, mate.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Oh, well, I'm excited too. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're like a celebrity, dude. Like, right out there.
It's been it's been an incredible journey, man. Like, I look at when I first started about 11 years ago from where I started to where I'm at now, like, Jesus, it's insane. And I'm ready to talk all about it.
Can we go back? Can we go back 11 years?
Yeah, let's go
So
back.
how old are you now?
I'm 31.
Whoa.
Oh.
So let's go back to 20.
Let's
What's
go.
a 20-year-old dude, Jono, doing?
When I was 20, I was playing professional soccer, and then
Here in Australia?
I started playing overseas, Indonesia, Singapore. So I traveled quite a fair bit with all that, and then
So you weren't born here, were you?
Yeah, I was born out. So I grew up in. Do you know Fairfield West?
Yeah, sure do.
So
Yeah.
and then I went to Westfield Sports.
Did you
out
go to?
there.
Okay, you didn't go to Fairvale. You went
Nah,
to
my
Westfield.
brother went there though. But
Okay,
yeah,
so
Westfield
Westfield.
Sports.
Okay, so Westfield Sports is where the talent, the
Yeah.
sports talent, they get a scholarship or whatever it is, not
Yeah.
scholarship, but they go there to do their studies. So you've got a lot of rugby league players go there,
Yeah.
and whatever, cricketers.
Yeah, Mike Clarkey came out of there.
Yeah. And so you were at Westfield?
Yeah, I was at Westfields, and then my whole life I thought, you know what I mean. This is what I want to do. I want to be a professional soccer player, and I trained, every day. It was one of those things where I was like, this is it, And then obviously it got to a time where I was playing overseas, and I really struggled in terms of like the countries where I couldn't speak the language, and having off games, and then everyone going against you. Like it's a lot. It's tough mentally, you know what I mean. And for me, it got really, really tough being away from home,
Especially as a young fella.
as a young fella, man. Like people don't understand on how hard it is to be a professional athlete, off the field as well. So then it just got quite a bit too much.
Well, what does that mean? Can I just stop you?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like, explain
What does
it
that
to me.
mean?
Like, because
Don't forget, like say for example, you have a bad game, and everyone's against you, and there's so much negative energy around that, and it just gets to your head.
who's everyone? Like the club or the team?
club, the players, everyone watching. You know what I mean? You're getting messages. It's
Serious?
Really, yeah, it's really tough on you.
Let's say Indonesia, for example.
Yeah,
You're in Indonesia.
yeah,
Who were you
Indonesia.
playing for?
Indonesia, I was playing for Persimmon Manokwari.
Right.
So-
So, and what would the team be made? Who were the
You'd
dudes
be-
in the team? Like,
Oh, you'd get 3 foreigners per each team, and then obviously everyone else would be a local
right.
Indonesian. But like I said, even that, like just traveling around the world in terms of like trialing, if you didn't make it, it's a lot of it's quite it's intense, And for me as a 20-year-old, I was like, came back home. It wasn't for me. And then obviously I started personal training. I enjoyed the fitness element. I enjoyed obviously getting results and that type of thing and winning. So I was like, hey, this is for me. And then, hey, like I started off, I did my Cert 3, Cert 4. And to this day, that's all the study I've actually done, to be honest.
So you went TAFE or something?
Yeah, I
like
went to TAFE, yeah.
Yeah. So when you come back, how old were you? 20?
I was, 20, I'd probably say, 19, 20, I was around there. And then I kept playing like on the side though. I played in the New South Wales Premier League, all that type of stuff like Blacktown, Marconi, all that as well. And then,
But so you come back to Australia and you said, like the travel, the playing in Indonesia is not my go. I don't want to do it. I'm going to go and become a personal trainer.
Yep.
Because I reckon I can get a few clients.
Yep.
I'll go and get the legal qualifications to allow me to train people, which is Cert 3 and 4, whatever
Cert 3,
that.
yeah.
And then you went off to TAFE to do it. Were you living in Fairfield?
Yeah, I was
Did you
living
move
with my
back home with
parents.
parents?
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
still
so-
living with the parents out
So,
at that
so
time.
Fairfield West is a pretty. Well, you're Colombian, right?
Yeah, Colombia background. Yeah,
There's not a lot of Colombians out there, though. There's a lot of.
there is a lot of there's a lot of Chileans out there. But
there?
I feel like not many Colombians choose to go to Miami.
for a whole lot of reasons, but there are a lot of Asians out there.
Yeah,
It's a big
yeah.
Asian
Community,
like
massive.
Filipinos, Thais, maybe not so much Chinese, but Vietnamese, massive.
Yep.
A lot of Lebanese.
Correct.
And then, so you would have been, were you growing up, were you part of those, community? Or how did you grow up? Like, was it like a bit odd?
growing up, I kind of stuck to obviously all the sporty kids. So we would obviously all the sporty kids are from all different areas. Like, there'd be people from Blacktown, there'd be people from even eastern suburbs. So I kind of hang around them. And that's probably one of the reasons why I kind of as well, like wanted to do personal training out in the eastern suburbs, because I feel like I built like such a strong relationships with that side of things as well. And I wanted to leave leave the West because I felt like the future for me there wasn't right. Personal trainers out there charge what, $40?
Yeah.
$40 a session for an hour.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, that's where I first started when I was working at Anytime Fitness Surrey Hills. I was charging $50 a sesh. You know, to this day where
So you came from Fairfield
correct.
to work at Anytime Fitness at Surrey Hills.
Yeah, correct. Yep.
And
So I was
just
doing all
explain
the
how does that work, John? Like,
Yeah.
why did you? Yeah, I mean, like here, young.
And it's
kid.
not luck. We can't say it's luck because I felt like I was.
Well, how'd you work it out? Like,
For
why
me,
did you
well-
decide Surrey Hills?
What I decided, it was the first job that was actually offered to me. My ex partner, she was doing personal training with a guy that worked out of there, and then he offered me the job after I finished Cert 4. So, and I was like, hey, this is a great starting position for me working at Surrey Hills. It's a rent model. You know, you pay this amount every week, and then if you can charge whatever you want. And it felt right. It just kind of, I was like, hey, this is a great opportunity. I was playing soccer on the side. I was working at Adidas. And at the same time, I
At a
was
store,
at a store doing retail. Yeah, that's
yeah,
right.
selling shoes.
Selling shoes.
Cool. No, that's cool. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
was your major undertaking mostly the Surrey Hills personal training, PT, or
Yeah,
was
yeah.
it more, or did you spend most of the time at Adidas?
I spent most of the time at Adidas.
So earning $30 an hour or $25 an
Yeah, would
hour.
have been back then, around there, even 22.
Were you at
or-
Birkenhead Point or somewhere, which we were an
No,
outlet?
I was down
an
in the
outlet?
city, at the city one.
Okay, I know the one, yeah. So you're at the city store,
Yeah.
getting paid like $25 an hour. And then after work or before work, you're
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
doing
I used
PTs?
to. So I'd do in the morning PTs, and then I'd finish PTs, go work at Adidas, and then after that, I'd go play soccer.
Right.
So I was
Soccer
doing
training?
Soccer training,
And
yeah.
then play whenever it is you've
or
got to
do
play.
personal training on the days I didn't have training.
So how did you sit down and say, this is going to be my life, or I'm going to work at Adidas and play a bit of soccer, but where I really want to go is the PT?
I always knew. I think with the soccer side at that stage, I was like, look, I'm getting older. Things aren't going to really work out for me. And then it's quite funny because my ex-partner's dad wanted me to be a police cop. So then I got up to the last stage, the last interview, and then I had to decide, do I want to continue being a personal trainer? Because I was getting busier. Obviously, working at Anytime Surrey Hills, I was doing really well, getting a good clientele, getting busy, which I was managing to closely get to a full-time trainer. And then I was like, hey, look, I love personal training. I love it. So I'm going to continue doing that. And then I got offered a job at Virgin Active, Zetland. And then I took that.
You got offered a job there?
Yeah, I got
Were
offered.
they headhunted you, so to
I
speak?
wouldn't say headhunted. I knew one of the guys, and then he gave me the position, which was great.
One of the recruitment guys.
Yeah, one of the recruitment guys.
How do
down
you
at
get to
the-
know him? Because
How-
because you know what, there's a lot. Listen, John, there's a lot of people that love to end up where you end up. Okay,
Of course.
So and there's a lot of them who went to Westfield,
Mhm.
and a lot of them were sports people, cricketers and what have you,
Mm-hmm.
who had potential to play for New South Wales or play for Australia, or
Mm-hmm.
especially in the cricket these days, but it just didn't work out for whatever reason.
Correct,
Okay,
correct.
soccer, boxers, all sorts of things. Then they say, okay, I'll become a personal trainer. Okay.
Mhm.
But they're still getting their 50, 60, maybe they might be doing well, might be getting $100 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
But they're doing, 20 clients a week.
Of course.
It might be 2,000 a week.
Mhm.
They're doing a bit of Instagram, might have 10,000
Mm-hmm.
followers. But I look at your stuff, you've got hundreds
sure.
of thousands,
Yeah.
and you've got to a whole lot of people, which we'll talk about later. What they're trying to work out is the path,
The path, correct?
the pathway. When you say some dude from Virgin, recruited type person, just offer you a job, like, how was that? Like, you're hanging around Virgin, or you're hanging around?
I think it's the type of clientele that you do meet in the city, you know what I mean? And you meet these people that are in high positions, that type of crowds. And for me, as a personal trainer, from people out west, and you talk about how did you get to where you are now, it's because I took the risk of going from out west. I didn't want to be a personal trainer. I knew I always wanted to mix with the top end people of town. And, I think that's one of my key strengths, where I'm being able to make a presence in whatever room it is, because they don't know in what, if I sit at the top, do I sit in the middle, or do I sit at the bottom? So I can be in a crowd, but I can still make that presence with my energy. And hey, like, that is one of my key skills, to be able to build that quick rapport.
Social media is a great place
For sure.
for people like you, like PTs today.
Yes.
It used to be a hard grind before. You'd be stuck in your environment.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't be able to build awareness about who you are, which is okay. But would you say this has got a lot more to do with your personality than anything else?
Correct. Well, the thing
Your networking ability, or as you said, you can stand out in a crowd, so to
For
speak.
sure. It's you know what, I'm going to quickly say this because I think this is so important. I actually got out of my comfort zone when I started social media, you know, because when I did start Instagram, which was about when I started Virgin, actually, a lot of people actually took the piss out of it, took the piss out of me. You know what I mean?
How many years ago are we talking about now?
Would have been probably around that. When was I at Virgin? I stuck around 9 years, 9 years ago, you know, and they took the piss. You know, I'd upload stuff and they'd just tease it all the time.
What
You
were you
know,
uploading?
oh mate, just if it's a photo of myself, if it's a photo without a shirt on me at a holiday wearing some cheeky budgies, whatever it was, you
Yeah,
know.
but so you
Yeah.
did take a bit of risk, so
Yeah,
to speak.
and
You know?
this is what I'm talking about. I took a risk out of my comfort zone, which no one was prepared to do that at that time. Everyone thought Instagram, this, that, you know what I mean? But I knew that it was always going to be a strong social platform for me to showcase my personality, to showcase my training, to showcase my results that I can get people. And that's what I just constantly kept doing over and over and over again without stopping, you know what I mean? And I have a crazy work rate, you know what I mean? Like I was doing 75 sessions a week, which is insane, you know what I mean?
Would
But
you film every 75 or photograph or post
I
something?
would post. I'll post everything. I love because at the end of the day, that's what people come to you. People come to you because you can get them results, and that is why they're going to pay you the money, right? So I kept taking photos before and afters, talking, creating confidence in people, and to this day, I still continue to do that over and over again, no matter how busy I get.
So I just want to unpick it a little bit though, John.
Yeah, go.
Because I reckon it's one of the hardest gigs in the world, personal trainer.
It is.
Like
It is.
I see him down at gyms, and
Mhm.
you know it's just constant hard. Like you've got
Mhm.
to clients ring up, they cancel.
Mhm.
You know they decide they want to go for another trainer because it's they see another trainer,
Mhm.
and it's especially for the older trainers, they don't really like social media. They
Mhm.
don't go on social media. Someone in your category, in your age group,
Mhm.
30 years of age.
Mhm.
Back then, they're 22. You pretty much got to adopt social media.
Mhm.
When you said you took a risk,
Mhm.
what does it actually mean? Is that you take the piss out of yourself?
Well, I think when I say I took the risk, I think I took the risk when no one was prepared to showcase their personality. You know, personal trainers, they're very serious, man. Like, you know what I mean? They're known to be, you know, where these commandos type of style
Yeah, yeah.
and that thing. And when I created personality through who I actually am and I portrayed that through social media when no one else was prepared to do that, the results show themselves.
What was the personality that you portrayed?
Well, say for example, you know, I'm very like I was confident within myself, so I was putting up photos. If it's shirtless, if it's me in budgies, whatever it is, and taking piss. I love taking the piss out of myself because I don't, you know, that's the way I like to live life. I like to, you know, if it's a joke or whatever it is, I showcased all that. No one was prepared to do that, and I was still getting taking the piss out of at work. You know, I'd come into work and mate, it's be like, that's fucking Jono doing wearing those budgies, or they even gave me a Christmas card, you know what I mean, with one of my photos, and I was like, that's a joke, man, you know. But I never gave up, and hey, like those people looking back, looking at me now, you know.
You built a reputation early days,
Mm-hmm.
say 22 years of age,
Mm-hmm.
where you prepared to cop it on the chin, no matter what people said. Who gives a fuck what your peers say at the end of the day? If you're getting awareness out there, and a good awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So
Win-win.
where did you learn that shit from? Like, here's a kid come back from Indonesia, didn't like people putting shit on him when he was in Indonesia because he didn't play well.
Could have been, yeah.
How come all of a sudden you?
Could have been adapted, learning from obviously mistakes. You know what I mean? We learn key aspects in life from, you know, like say for example, you know, I'm recently divorced, and you know, that's made me such a stronger person, and you know, it's one of those things where the, you know, really hard things that happen in life, if it's either a death or it's divorce, it's made me so much more stronger, more confident, and really valuing on who I am. So I think, you know, just going back to that, we learn from our mistakes, and I think one of my mistakes was quitting too early when, hey, I maybe could have kept going with soccer. I could have potentially something could have happened. You never know. But this was the path for me because, you know, we all have our paths, and if you believe, if you manifest it, that's the way. That's what's going to happen. That's the script right there. If you're prepared to work for it.
Yeah, but okay, and I want to come back to that discipline and that hard work aspect because 75 sessions is crazy.
Yeah.
Being prepared to make mistakes and make sacrifice, like you just said, you got divorced recently. Do you think that putting yourself out there becomes a challenge to whoever it is you might be hanging with, like your wife, your friends, your family, whatever?
Putting myself out there in terms of like social media.
Social media.
It does become a challenge. Yeah, 100%. I feel like sometimes people know more about my life than I know myself sometimes. You know, they're like, oh, you on that holiday? And I'm like, oh, that was like, mate, that was like 2 years ago. You know what I mean? Or you're wearing this. And I'm like, mate, I can't even remember what I was wearing yesterday. You know, so some people, yeah, it is a challenge, man, because people want to be invested in your life and, you know, they expect this amazing person, you know what I mean? But I'm not always switched on. Like I just did a recent transformation because I went away for 3 months and I just ate whatever I want. I drank, you know, and I put on so much weight, I put on 15 kilos. I'm not perfect, but, you know, what I'm prepared to do is challenge myself and I'm back to being a mate. Like I've lost it all, you know what I mean? I've picked up a men's health cover from that as well. So like, hey, mate, I'm prepared to take challenges.
Yeah, so that's it's pretty interesting because it seems to me that if you are going to be, if you want to be successful on social media, then what the world expects is an authentic Jono.
Mm-hmm.
And authentic Jono is tell the truth.
Tell the truth. Exactly.
Be honest. In other words, what's and all. Like, in other words, but that is a challenge to whoever you might be hanging out with, you know, your partner, wife, husband, whatever it happens to be, because, you know, you're a young guy, you're in an industry which is about vanity, which is fine. You're not actually training people to become, you know, world champion boxers or something. You're training them to look good, which is that's vanity, which is cool. Healthy and looking good. There's, you know, but the looking good part's a big part of it. There you go. So it's about vanity. You're there with your shirt off. I haven't seen you with your shirt off, and no doubt you're well built. You know, all shaped up, and your partner be saying, "Well, fuck me." Every chick in fucking Sydney's fucking perving to my bloke. What's his deal?
Yeah.
That's a risk.
It is.
It's fucking hard to swallow, you know.
Because you think about a lot of you know, a lot of people, guys that are not strong enough would be like, oh, I'm not even going to post that, babe. No worries. I'm just gonna.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to listen to.
So how do you deal with that?
How do you deal with that? Well,
fuck them. I'm posting it.
Well, like that's it. I know my brand. I know what I stand for, and this is who I am. You know?
But how do you deal with your partner? Like, I mean, how do you say to her or him, if, you know, and some if it's a him, but like, how do you say like?
Yeah.
Like, is it their insecurity that you have to deal with? And just say, hey, dude, that's your insecurity. What's the conversation like?
Yeah, I think with my partner, obviously she owns half of the business as well, and she's in that whole social media aspect as well. Yep. So she was a large push for me as well. She actually supported. You know what? She actually supported me greatly through when I was getting obviously teased from it. She said, "Jono, keep going. Like these people mean nothing to you." You know what I mean? And
so she was cool.
She was very cool with it, and to this day, she's very cool with absolutely everything.
What would you say to somebody who's got a partner who's not cool?
If I was to give advice to anyone, is if you need to change on who you are and who you represent for anyone, then I don't think that's a relationship you should be in. You know what I mean? You set the boundaries early, because if you accept the behavior and you allow it, then you're accepting it. So I think set boundaries. Don't change for anyone. Be yourself.
Okay, then that would
be my advice.
Is the essential piece of being good on Instagram. Authenticity.
Yeah, it's just you know. But some people, they're just not strong enough within themselves to express feelings, express on who they need to be. You know, they don't have that. They haven't developed that skill set yet. Which, you know, for me, I used to be very shy. Like take back 10 years ago, man, I couldn't come on here. You know what I mean? I'd probably shit myself.
But where did it all come from then? Where did you develop this?
It came from experiences and having success and really understanding on who I am through obviously results, acknowledgement, you know, praise. And then all that led to, you know, me now being confident. And you can see that through my social media. Like, hey, man, people are scared to talk on social media. You know,
totally.
I try to. We actually, for my business, with all my trainers, we've got 13 trainers, and we actually have like every Tuesday they do camera work. This type of stuff where they do videos, they do talk to camera stuff to develop that skill.
You teach them,
yes,
or you have someone come and do the social media.
I have someone, yeah, exactly. Every Tuesday,
you know, at 31, mate, I would not have been able to have this conversation with me. Yeah, we're going back a long time ago, but like times are different. But I mean, you showing a great deal of maturity and solidarity about yourself. I mean, did something happen during this last 10 years that sort of rocked you and made you give yourself an uppercut and say, no, Jono, that's who you are?
I feel like it was a process, and I thought it was a process that was going to happen the way that I was headed. You know what I mean? Like I was, you know, like we talked about, doing a lot of sessions. I won in terms of Virgin Active. They had like this global award, which I won, which was you know, thousands of trainers within that business, and I was number one.
What you have to do to win that?
It took me so I was actually kept a consistency of that 75 sessions for 70. Let's say 60 to 75 sessions throughout the whole year. You know what I mean? I was working Monday to Sunday, so
75 hours work a week.
Yeah,
60 to 75 hours.
45-minute cheeky sessions. You know, so it was a heavy workload. But for me, you know, like comes from my dad, man. Like my dad migrated to Australia when we were 7. You know, he didn't know the language. He took the risk, and he's, you know, for me that's such a big thing. Going, you know, migrating into a country that you don't even know the language. You don't have a property. You know what I mean? So for me, I've taken a lot of that on board, and I think that showcases, you know, where we talk about the risks that I've taken in my life.
Because what I'm getting from you is you were prepared to take a personal risk in relation to who Jono is in a public environment, and then back it up with the hours you worked.
Correct.
So this is a combination of fucking hard work,
Correct.
consistent hard work, not for a month or a year, but for the whole time.
Yep.
And then make use of social mediums when others weren't.
Correct.
They are now some more
Yeah,
so, but
yeah.
but then establish yourself early. I mean, Kayla Ritzen's style.
Yeah, well,
You know,
Kayla, you know,
good example.
a great
10 years ago,
great example.
she got in early, 10 million followers or whatever. Like she kills it, man. But she was early doors, prepared to get on there and do the thing.
Yeah, because she
and-
started off with a booklet, you know what I
Totally.
mean? Mate, what
And
a
Jono's
great
the
idea.
same.
Correct.
But a massive work ethic.
Massive.
So, I mean, they are constants in anything, any formula that, you want to build about success.
Correct. Hard work, risk taking. If I was to add another one,
Yeah, add another one. What is it?
believing in yourself, you know, because we
Okay.
talk about the thing, he who wishes misses. That's a big thing that I've taken in my life, because you can't wish. You got to make it happen.
You can't sit around wondering.
No, you can't. And that's what I didn't do. You know what I mean? I knew where I wanted to get to, and I knew that was my path. And I'm very, very, let's not say lucky, but I'm very, very privileged that I took that risk.
Yeah, well,
Took that path.
that gratefulness is a big piece. Let's go to the break and we'll come straight back because I want to talk about your business. But I guess I can't move away without talking about some of the great names that you've done.
Yes.
That you've looked after. I mean, because that helps. But we'll go to the break. We're going to come straight back and talk about. Throw some names out there, dude.
That sounds good. Let's do that.
So, Jono, I mean, we sort of unpicked a bit of the stuff about what you were like as growing up as a kid, and your 20 to 30 period. And I did the same thing, by the way. I made the migration from west to east because there's more money over here.
Yeah.
And there is more
There
money
is,
and more
it is.
opportunities.
100%.
But it's a big deal.
It's a massive deal. Like, I'd probably say, how many people don't take that risk? I know people
Most.
from school that haven't taken that risk, and they're still working out there.
Totally. I'm the only guy from my year that at Bankstown moved. My final year of school, Bankstown, moved to these suburbs. Like I literally moved the next year.
Yeah.
As soon as I finished HSC, I was gone. And I moved to Bondi. I was 17, and I've never left since. So but I did it because I was going to uni here, but also there's no point me staying there. I mean, I just didn't see any opportunities there for me anyway. But you did that, but there's a bit of glamour that really sits well with your profile, your social media as a result of your profile. Glamour helps.
Correct.
When it comes to personal training, you have glammed up with names.
I'll probably say, we talk about Sir Richard Branson, which, like we talk about that full circle moment. I worked for Virgin Active when I first started off,
Yeah.
Rebel Wilson.
How'd you meet Branson? So
It was actually, this is such a funny story. He actually visited when we opened up that club, that Virgin Active over there. And
in Zetland?
In Zetland. I didn't get to chat to him because, at the end of the day, was he going to chat to, some worker, and then,
That's what you thought.
That's what correct. That's actually very bad mindset of me, back then. But then I was in Miami, and their marketing team reached out. Well, his marketing team.
So why did you go to Miami?
I was actually on my break, to be honest. It kind of just.
So you took yourself to Miami?
Yeah.
You said, I'm going to go to Miami.
Yeah, I said I'm going to go to Miami, and then their marketing team saw that I was actually in Miami, and they're like, "Hey, we would love for you to come train Sir Richard Branson on his yacht that he was over there." And I was so thankful.
But how did the marketing team know you were at Miami?
Through social media.
That's right. Okay. So social media, you didn't mind telling everybody you're in Miami on a holiday.
Yep. Yeah, so basically it was in Miami. Got the DM because obviously I love to
So
check
you got a
DM.
direct message,
Direct message, because a lot of us don't even check our back end of the private messages we get, because if you don't follow them, you're not going to
yeah.
instantly get that message. So we get a lot of PT inquiries personally. So
Was
I
this
check.
you and your wife at the time?
Yeah, this is
Yep.
me and my wife
Yep.
at the time. That's correct.
So who did the DM checking?
We both did, but I'm a worker, like
Yeah,
we talked
yeah,
about.
yeah.
I'm always checking, you know what I mean. We get a lot of people reaching out for help, so I love to just, even if it's a quick reply, you know, it means a lot to them. And then wanted me to obviously come on board. I was like, hey, I'd love to. What a great opportunity.
How do you answer that? Yeah, that. How do you answer that? I mean, how do you write that answer?
How do you?
Yeah, you
can
fuck
pull it
yeah,
up.
or no? What do you say?
A little bit more.
No, but what? Yeah, no, yeah, totally.
Inside me, I was going, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah, so, but and then
But
how
me
do you
as a-
hold that back, or do you actually express all your enthusiasm in your answer?
In your answer.
and in the language? I mean, do you?
I'm pretty sure I kind of dialed it down a bit. I was still myself. I didn't say like thank you very much, but I said, you know, it would be a great opportunity for me. So thank you for thinking of me, you know. And then they obviously went on board, which was a great experience. I think it was like about 5 days, I think it was, that we stayed on there. I
Do you
was,
charge him?
So no, you know what? They're gooey. That's a good question. You know, I didn't charge him, you know, and this goes back to my early days on how this is a great as well, because when I was growing up as a trainer, I was doing a lot of free sessions for these people that were in the social scene, because I'm like, hey, if I've got 45 minutes of my day and I'm going to go back home, why don't I just stick around and give these people that are in the media some sessions where they can post me?
You invest in them.
Yeah, I invest in them, but I'm also getting an investment in terms of marketing, because, you know, a lot of people, these people charge for whatever, it's a post or whatever it is, you know, and
Because they're influencers.
yeah, the influencers, and I just kept doing that over and over again. Like we talked about the Veronicas. I think it was like Team O'Matic back in the day. Who else? A few singers, and then yeah, like it just kind of people started to write a lot of articles, like if it's Daily Mail, if it's whatever, the Sunday Telegraph, whatever it was, it just kept saying like John Cassano, PT. And you know how people are these days, you know, people get drawn to that, and, you know, they really want to work with people that have worked with high influential people, you know, and
Well, because they figure that
if they can trust you,
Branson
Yeah.
knows something about you
Of
that
course.
I don't know.
yeah,
Therefore, I trust Branson, so I trust you.
of course,
So then I'll ask you to come and do for me what you did for him.
exactly.
And that's sort of
And
the
that's-
virtuous circle.
And
So I'm sorry, I want to go back to Branson, because I mean I'm fascinated by Branson.
Mhm.
Branson, you meet him on board,
yeah,
and
yeah.
he's a pretty cool dude. I've met him a couple of times. He doesn't mind taking photographs.
No, he doesn't.
You know, like he's happy.
he
if you
has,
do-
yeah,
he's
of
cool.
course. He's super happy, and I think that's a big thing as well. You know, like for him to be able to give his time away to, you know, new people, because in that, I'm assuming in that circle, it's very tough to bring in new people. If it's a new trainer, if it's a new chef, or whatever it is, it's a tough thing, you know. Because
And
obviously,
was he fit?
yeah, he was very fit. Actually, he did well.
Because I've seen recent photos of him.
No, he's got a six pack.
Totally.
Yeah,
He doesn't mind getting his shirt off at the moment.
No,
like
he doesn't. No, he
he's
looks
a little bit older than me, I think.
But you know, I think another one is, you know, we talk about Rebel Wilson. Like, you know, I think that was probably my my pivotal moment where.
Well, how'd you
know,
meet Rebel? How'd that happen?
Rebel came through a mate of mine, which was Hugh Sheridan, which we were doing for the men's health cover, because every quarter I do a new transformation. So obviously Hugh Sheridan was one of those. And he's like, hey, look, one of my mates is in town and she would love for you to train her. It's Rebel Wilson. I was like, yeah, sweet, bring her in.
Did you know her?
No,
I mean, did you know
oh yeah,
her?
I knew who she was, of
Yeah.
course. And then I was like, yeah, this will be great. Fuck yeah.
Yeah,
know?
totally.
Yeah, you know, what a great opportunity
Cool
to
chick.
showcase. Amazing, cool chick, very down to earth, and she was very willing to listen, willing to work hard, and you know, we trained like basically every day. Charged her.
Good.
And then
But
yeah.
what? So when you see someone like Rebel, this is pre-transformation.
Mhm.
Do you actually go away and build a strategy, like sort of say, like this is going to be about diet, output, exercise, sleep,
Mm.
blah
It's-
blah blah?
It's well, you listen to what they you obviously have that conversation on what the actual goal is, because a lot of goals they're not all based on aesthetics. They might be happy the way they are, but in terms of, you know, we talk about Rebel and people in terms of that weight loss, you know, you got to work out their current structure, their lifestyle, you know, what type of program you're going to put them on, if they've got any injuries, all that. So it's a complete like life change. You know what I mean? You talk about those key pillars that they get, like in terms of like sleep, recovery, training. You know, you need to incorporate all of that, and we did that, and we stuck to the structure.
But did you ever think you're going to get her to where she ended up? Like, she looks unbelievable.
I knew she was. I knew she was. As soon as she declared that year of health, I think that was a key thing, and in a great way that I like to tell my clients: if you kind of keep investing in terms of posting your own journey, I think that's going to keep you on track. And for her, with such a large audience, you're declaring, you know what I mean? Like, if you want to make a change and declaring it to all your followers, you're going to follow through with that.
That's
change.
a really interesting point.
You follow through.
Can I just divert for a little bit there on that? That's a really interesting thing you just said, and probably I wouldn't mind exploring a little bit, because not so much in relation to personal training or losing weight or Rebel or anything, but generally speaking, if you have something around your brand that's valuable to be told, like in her case, what her objective was, and sometimes we fall by the wayside because, oh, fuck yeah. But if you keep telling it to everybody you know, everyone you know, not necessarily on social media, just everyone you know, you keep prosecuting the position in a prolific way. You keep saying, I'm going to lose weight. So the more people you tell that to, all of a sudden you sort of get committed. And if you don't do what you said, you look like you're not delivering. And and now we've got social media, which actually makes it much more powerful. So the more she said that, the more she had to do it. Because you sort of get trapped into the tunnel. You put yourself there, and you got to do it.
That's right. And a lot of people are obviously relying on you to get these results, and they're there with you within the journey. And that's the positive thing about social media. They're all there with you.
Yeah. Especially in her case.
Yeah, for sure.
Totally, because she's a well-loved and well-followed person for probably all the obvious reasons. I don't know, but I've seen the media. But to some extent, you're using your audience to get the outcome that you really need.
I think anyone that's like, say for example, if I even declared that I was doing a transformation myself.
More recently?
More recently. I'm 5 weeks in, and I think as soon as I declared it, I was like, hey, I need to do this.
Mate,
I wasn't in the best mindset myself when I got back from Hawaii from my last trip, which was start of 2022. I wasn't in the best mindset. I wasn't in the best shape. Didn't feel good. But then as soon as I declared it, I was like, hey, look, I'm starting this journey. Started to obviously post about it, like, look, and the results that I've gotten. I think every person, as soon as they declare something, they're pretty invested. We have to be.
But they don't want to be seen as failing.
No, I'd hate that. I hate failure.
Yeah,
failure to me is it comes to a lot of people, but for me, man, as soon as I say something, I'm getting it done.
Yeah, that's quite interesting because weight loss. We got fad diets. It's mental. Out there in terms of how you lose weight, and all the discussion around Rebel Wilson has been a bit crazy. But a large part of, at the end of the day, it's all about how do you stay on the path, don't deviate. And, how do I not eat the chocolate that's in the fridge?
My friends are asking me out. How do I say no? You know what I mean? How do I don't look like a terrible person because I'm saying no to my mates? You know what I mean? I think.
Yeah, I'm not coming to have a beer.
Yeah.
But how did you do that? How did you do that in your
with my journey, I actually went out and had a beer. You know what I mean? But what I managed to do was, if I know I'm gonna have a beer with my mates, like, hey, I'm working hard at the gym and I'm gonna burn X amount of calories extra because I know I'm gonna be having 2 or 3 drinks. I was still limited. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna go and have 20, 30 tequila shots.
Yeah.
But I was still very invested in that journey because I knew I've told people, and I don't want to be a disappointment. I don't want to be a failure, especially when I'm a PT. So many people rely on what I say to them. Can you imagine if I can't even do it myself? Like, how disappointed? Like, I'd even be disappointed myself if I can't even get those results.
Is that about accepting your responsibility to the people that follow you, or let's call it rely on you to some extent?
100%, and you can see that through authenticity. One thing that I see in terms of social media, I see a lot of people posting like, a lot of quotes, a lot of this, but they're not authentic about it. You know what I mean? They just post it, and it's like what you're saying and what your actions are as a person, they just don't match.
There's a disconnect.
There's a massive disconnect, and I feel like whenever I see something like that, I know it straight away. Hey, like, this person is not authentic, and this person is not
full of shit.
Full of shit. That's I was trying to be nice about that. Yeah,
no,
full
you
of
say
shit.
it on my show.
But you see that so many times, like, it's insane, And for me, like, when I say something, I mean it.
How do you maintain over what period of time we're talking about, and how do you maintain the momentum with her?
There's obviously with any client, there's a pressure to obviously get results in terms of if that's what they're asking for, because a lot of trainers, well, say for example, a lot of trainers think it's a 45-minute session and that is it. Our jobs are 24 hours, man. Like, you know what I mean? A lot of people struggle with emotional eating.
So it's not transactional.
No.
It's not a transaction.
No.
It's a relationship.
It's a relationship, correct.
And then how do you live that relationship out? Like, so what do you do? Ring her up and say, hey, you're going at 8 o'clock, don't eat that
Mate,
chocolate? What do you do?
Text messages to this day, no matter how many clients I have, you know, you can even ask Fordo. I know you know Fordo. Ask him how many times I text him throughout every single week. I get him to text me all his food every night, you know, and I've got X amount of clients.
So that's interesting. So, Jono, so this is not about, and I never thought this through before, but this is not about just I turn up the gym, you know, you're my trainer, I give you $100 and you say, and at the end of the 45 minutes I'm gone and you go on to the next customer, which you would, but equally you spend a lot of time communicating.
I'm invested in their journey.
You're communicating. And it's got to be genuine communication. Mark, you don't eat that fucking chocolate bar that I know you're, you know, or don't. When you go home and you get petrol at the servo, don't buy a Kit Kat, which is the worst thing in the world because I do that. Kit Kats are always there, right there in front of me, and they're like screaming, "Mark, buy me!" And I love a Kit Kat. I don't know why after it I think, what would I fucking beat that for? But they're always sitting there in front of me. So, but my point is, you're a serial communicator with your clients.
It's not. No, it's a 24-hour job, and that's what makes me so different to so many trainers out there, because I know a lot of trainers are lazy. Trainers are lazy. You know, they want these quick results. They all want to be online trainers without creating the fundamentals, the steps of putting in the hard work, creating a brand. You know what I mean? So for me, I know what it takes. It is a hard job. I'm not going to lie. PT, early hours, late hours, a lot of communicating back and forth. But if you really love it, as cliche as, you know, everyone says that you don't work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Totally.
And I totally agree with that.
And you actually love what you do.
Exactly. In
relation to Rebel, like, it's obviously a big name. How do you protect your client when it's heavily documented about the process that she and you are undertaking?
It's I guess for me, you know, my job was to get results, you know, and I think for someone like Rebel, she's obviously got a big team behind her in terms of like a publicist and all that, and obviously she would have gotten a massive advice for me. Any advice that I give to Rebel, it's probably not the best advice because I have no idea about that, you know. So for the journey, for me, hey, my job was to be a PT. And that is what I was installed to do. So, but in terms of her, like, she got amazing articles and she's created an amazing brand. And in terms of, like, you know, so many people have continued to follow her from the result she got. So I'm very proud of her. And like I said, she's an incredible person. She knew how to get results, which so many people start a journey and how many times they quit after week 2. So for her, congratulations. And I wish her all the best as well, you know.
So basically, I guess what you're sort of saying to me, though, is that you said, look, I'll do my job.
I'll do my job. And
I'll leave the rest of it
100%
under your control.
Yeah, that's it.
That's her control.
That's it.
And you just comply.
That's it. That's me being authentic myself, and that was my job. And, you know, there's so many people out there looking for the quick gain. And, you know, I was actually talking to one of my mates who does all these share stuff, and I was like, oh, what do you think if I should start this? And he's like, Jono, mate, just stick to what you're good at, and you're doing a great job at it. And from that advice that he gave me, I was like, hey, mate, you know what? You're right, and this is what I'm great at, and I'll continue to grow this brand, and that's what I'll focus on.
Can I just talk about your business venture with, how do I pronounce it? Acero? Acero.
Acero. That's
Acero. And what does that mean?
Acero, you know, it's actually my mum's last name. So when I got married to Amy, we decided just to keep Castano, and I was like, hey, what a great way to keep it, you know, within
That's your dad's name?
Yeah, Castano's dad's name, Acero's mum's last name. And I was like, what a great way to keep it within myself and something that I love. So we made the gym Acero. And, you know, just to talk about Acero, and when we started, we actually made Acero when COVID was actually happening, you know, through the hardest period. We made a gym. We took, once again.
So you got actual gym premises, yep?
Yeah. So we actually took the risk.
Yep.
You know, we made.
Where's the gym premises?
It's in Kensington. It's upstairs. It's 480 square meters.
It's a
you
big
know,
gym.
It's a good gym. It's a very, we got a boxing ring in there. We cater to all people. Like we're one-on-one focused. So that is the key difference as well. Our competitors are people like Vision, people that just focus on that one-on-one,
So you're not doing classes and stuff?
No, we don't do classes, but we charge a higher premium price for our services. But
And you're in partnership with
correct.
your ex-wife?
Yeah, that's correct. Yes,
Right.
She does. She actually does a large portion of the marketing in terms of the whole gym, where we're headed. She's so amazing at it. She's really good. I can only say nice things about Ames. She's very business minded as well. She wants success as much as I do, and I think like for us to continue to, we're separated, but we continue to be a strong team together. I think that's a key thing as well.
That's cool.
And I think that you actually don't see this day and age, to be able to work with your ex-partner and continue to, grow the business.
And what's your relationship with? I noticed when I was reading this about Dustin. So Dusty Martin.
Yeah, so Dusty Martin. So we're coming out with this app. Should be launched probably around June, I would say. So Dusty Martin is obviously a mate of mine. So we've decided to team.
He's
up.
a mate of yours.
Yeah, decided to team up.
He's
together.
a Melbourne boy.
Yeah, but within this social media thing, you meet, like you go to events, you go to all this, and this is the circle that I've surrounded myself with, and that's where I get a lot of my clients, my high influential clients now. Just being at the party or being at the movies premiere, whatever it is.
So how did you strike a conversation with Dusty Martin?
The person that we spoke to initially about the app introduced us to him, and then from there we just kind of kicked it off. But once again, a great person to team up with.
What's the app do?
So basically the app is, the vision for the app is we have 10 gyms across the world. We have 20.
You have now, or you will?
No. This is say for example, manifesting a projection line. 10 gyms around the world. We've got this Soul app, which every trainer within those 10 gyms, say for example, you have 20 trainers, whatever that equals to, can make their own programs within and give it to their own social media following, where they keep a capacity of the earnings from that. You know what I mean? Why not give back to the people that actually work for you, with them portraying their abilities through creating programs? So that's what we're
So the programs get put on the app. So
exactly.
I go and download the app. Is it called Acero?
Yeah.
Okay. Correct. So I download the Acero app, and
you want to do
and I look at I don't know.
So Johnny Castano.
My
program.
Your program, and I subscribe. So I pay $20 a month. What is it a month?
Yeah, it would be.
Have you worked that part out?
We still haven't worked that part out.
Okay, so there's a subscription payment every month.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of me making the subscription payment, I then choose which trainer I want to use.
That you want to use
now, but is it virtual or?
So it would be all pre-programmed. So say for example, you're looking for a 5-day program and you want a hypertrophy type of plan.
Yep.
Where you're trying to build muscle, then you can access that. But
and there might be some dude in Miami, wherever it is,
and
that guy gets a percentage of
the sales that he subscribes.
And he or she, who's one of your personal trainers, has a big following as well.
Mm-hmm.
So what your app does is it merges the followings of all the programs that the various personal trainers put onto your platform or your app, which is your platform. And then you also will, you have a big following too. So you will also promote Acero, which then in turn promotes their program, and they in turn promote your program.
And their profile.
And their profile, yeah. So it's a little bit like the Sweat.
It is
sort of similar.
Similar to Sweat. Sweat obviously targets
a different audience.
Five massive trainers that have a great following.
Yep.
For us, we pick up if it's like you're someone just starting off.
You know cool.
What I mean? You could have 500 followers and 500 of those followers subscribe.
So you're sort of more democratizing it, making it bigger for
giving
more
opportunity
people.
To everyone.
Yeah, that's cool. And I can. And Acero app will be launched when, you reckon?
I reckon around June.
Right. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So basically, you're going to turn this into a global platform.
Correct.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. And just in terms of building your app, I mean, you're a boy from Fairfield, Fairfield West, and you played soccer. You didn't go to uni. everyone goes, "Oh, build app." Build apps. It's the app part's not hard. It's the shit that sits behind it. It's all the back end.
Mate.
How are you doing that? I mean,
So we've
so
got
what do you do?
we've obviously partnered with a team that has built they've actually built the app called On the Ball, which is like your biggest soccer football app in the world, and so they've done very, very well with that. So they know in terms of the functionality side. So we've partnered with someone that's very successful within the industry, and that suits obviously what we represent. So the hardest thing about the app is actually putting all those hours aside to film, to voiceovers, you know what I mean, and getting
Content.
getting 14 of those trainers to put aside their own time that they're not getting paid yet, and making them believe in it.
Yeah, well, they got to believe in it. But
Yeah,
you
because,
said to
mate,
me, you said at the beginning, before
Mate.
at the end of the break,
that's it.
you said I want to add a third element,
Mm-hmm.
and you said believing in yourself.
Believing in it, yeah, correct. Good
And
memory,
yeah, and you're now saying that you want to parlay that into your 14 trainers
hmm
that they have to believe in
they
themselves.
have to believe it.
So-
Trust the process.
So is that your role to continually message them and keep them on side? And because you know what, like it's easy to lose.
Stuff.
Yeah, you know, you can sort of go, fuck, you know.
Haven't lost one yet, man. Haven't lost
Well,
one.
that's cool. So, you know, Jono's telling me to do this, but oh my God, like when am I going to earn some money out of this? Like, how do you sort of keep them on side and keep them believing in themselves? And, you know, I mean, obviously by content and contact, I should say, or communication, but what do you say to these people?
Mate,
I mean, it's a bit like what you say to, you know, Rebel Wilson when you just meet these people.
yeah, of
like,
course. I tell you, yeah. What I say to my, I guess the staff know the potential of the brand. You know what I mean? Like, it's at the moment, like, hey, like, say for example, someone starting off, like, it's so hard to build a clientele. For us at Acera, we give you the clients. You know, all of our trainers are currently doing over 30 sessions. Like, that's quite a bit of coin in your pocket. When, like, if you're at a Fitness First, if you're at some type of rent model gym, like, it's tough. It's a tough world out there. PT, it's like we talked about, it's a very hard industry, and to get clients is very, very hard. And we give you all that. We create content for you. We don't charge you rent. We help you get articles out there to obviously showcase, you know, start to build your own brand within that Acera umbrella. So we give them all that, and I think they really
How
understand.
do you
that.
choose them?
How do the way I actually hire my staff is, you know, when we get a lot of people applying, and for me as a you know, I can feel the energy that someone has. I can know if they're a good person, because you can't teach someone to be a good person. It's impossible. If you're
Yeah.
a shit person, you're a shit person.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
impossible to change. But you can teach someone to be a good trainer.
Yep.
So for me, that is the way that I love to hire my trainers. And thank God to this day, everyone's been simply amazing.
Do you are you only going to have 14 or?
No, projection line. So we're looking to have around 19 by June.
Right, but you're not limiting it. You're saying
No.
you're happy to have 100. one
No,
day.
no, because then that would kill the space, and then that would lose, you know, why people pay 180 for a session. Like, people want a bit of privacy in there, you know what I mean? Like, if I went to a Fitness First, mate, I'd fucking hate it.
Yeah.
And I worked out of there, and I knew what my clients were saying to me. You know, I've worked at many gyms, and for us, what we made at Acera was we kind of created a place that I felt was like amazing from all my experience, from all my shit experiences that I had at every gym, and then created this place that any trainer that I did bring on board was going to be happy to work at.
And can those trainers continue to train PT people in the gym that they currently operate in, or do you want them to be exclusive?
We want it to be exclusive to Acera. I feel like if you don't want to be exclusive to Acera, then hey, like, you can go be exclusive to Fitness First, you know?
Yeah, okay, I get it. No, but so you're sort of creating an environment, like a virtual environment, which is an online environment, where clients or clients can access the trainers that you curate or cherry pick from, you know, based on all the characteristics you're looking for, and then maybe a potential customer or a client, I can subscribe to Acera, and then I can engage with that particular individual anywhere in the world, wherever I might be, and that individual's got a program which I like, and I'll use that program when I'm staying in, the Four Seasons in LA.
Yep.
When I go to the gym downstairs, the Four Seasons in LA, because I might be working in LA or whatever, and I just dial it up, and the program's there 24/7.
That's right. 100%. And if you get, say, for example, someone, one of my trainers gets 100 subscribers, I'm sure they're going to put time aside to contact those 100
Every
people,
one of them.
every one of them. But if we work, we talk about Kayla Itzeness and her large, I doubt any of them are going to, they've obviously got a massive team behind them to reach out, but is it really them reaching out?
Yeah, is it authentic? And
Probably not.
and what is Dusty Martin's role like?
So Dustin will create some programs as well within it.
Yep.
So obviously Dustin owns a portion of the app as well.
Yep.
Which is a great thing as well. Like, like what a person to team up with, and it has a massive brand as well, like similar to mine. And we're both in the same, in terms of that sporting background, we both want to help people and we both want to create an empire that we can do that.
If I was to ask you, you could have played for Chelsea and earning shitloads of money. Would you prefer to be doing what you're doing, or would you prefer to be that dude?
I think your mindset changes within that journey, to be honest. It's very hard to go back to that life and wish that I had that, because I'm not on that path anymore. That path is long sailed, So I think if I was in that path, I wouldn't even be thinking of personal training. If I'm on a personal training path, I'm not going to be thinking of Chelsea.
So what does personal training give you though? Well, I mean,
it gives me satisfaction.
What do you love about it? Like,
what I love about it? Well, there's so many things I love. I love obviously creating new friendships. I would say all my friends that I have now have been from me being a personal trainer, and they've made me the person I am today. I've worked with some people in those positions where they are mentors to other people that I've mentored myself, installed systems into me, which if they weren't installed, I probably wouldn't. We talk about, the being present, no backward thinking, no forward thinking. You got 3 seconds to change. I've adapted those things where to not let little things affect me too much. When you think about 10 years ago, I'd let bloody everything affect me. But I'd say that. Also, I love just getting people results and their feeling that they get from it. Like they're so thankful, man. Like, for changing their life, and it's actually it's so touching. Like I probably share it to you now, all the journeys that I've had with people. Like from them not even believing themselves to having a complete lifestyle change and becoming a new person. That feeling there is. It's priceless.
Well, that
it's priceless,
feedback
man.
loop that you're talking about, that feedback that you get from the loop, you get back to, say, from Rebel Wilson, for example. I mean, it's pretty obvious. You look at her, but when she messages you and stays in contact with you, or whoever it is, that it doesn't have to be her, by the way. It can be someone who's not as famous as her. Is that the thing that helps your self-belief?
It does help me. It helps me believe in my ability. Yes, it does. Yeah. Helps me believe that I know that I can do a great job, and it helps me believe that I'm on the right path to so many better things and being able to help so many more people.
What's interesting about that statement is that in order for you to believe in yourself, because you made that as your third plank in being your success, believing in yourself, the feedback loop actually allows you to continue to believe in yourself. But it doesn't happen unless you, right at the beginning, establish the communication line. So in order to get the feedback, you have to invite it. Not only you have to deliver it, the good outcome, but you have to invite the feedback. And it starts with you communicating to your client about what they're doing. Not just a transaction when they come in, they pay you $100, they walk out, but it's about seeing Fordo or ringing up whoever it is or texting, whatever, just communicating, say, like, how'd you go tonight? How many calories you consume, whatever the case may be. But if you constantly communication line to the individual, then the individual will feed back to you. And then that'll feed your own self-belief.
Correct. Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you'll go to the next stage and to the next stage, and you end up where you're ending up now, trying to build a global business with all these famous people. And because like first thing came in my mind when I knew you were coming on was, how's a kid from fucking Fairfield West end up doing this shit?
How many fucking people ask
pretty
that?
simple, dude.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
You've created this feedback loop into your own self-belief. You're prepared to work hard. You're prepared to take risk about yourself by being authentic. And you just keep feeding those three things. You just keep feeding them over and over and over. I'm sure you keep up to date in the skills and all those other things that everyone has to do in every business.
Correct.
But you just keep feeding those three things that we talked about at the end of the break. It works. You don't change it. You don't have to, all the technology, all that sort of stuff, get the experts in it, all that sort of stuff. That all makes sense. But the thing that really drives your outcomes, your success, I think is those three things.
It's a loop.
That's that loop.
Yeah, when you break it down like that, yeah, definitely. I've actually never broken it down like that, and thank you for actually showing me that.
But
and teaching me that.
I've always
Thank
wondered
you.
about people like you.
Thank you.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess to your final bit, the thing that I have noticed about you is you're grateful.
Amen.
And I think that helps a lot. That's a big deal, being grateful. A lot of people, they're snarling. A lot of personal trainers are snarling. They're upset. They're always bitching about shit.
Always. Why is this guy there? Why am I not?
Fuck
Hey,
yeah.
fuck
And
it.
that's the reason they're not there,
Amen.
because they're bitching.
Stop bitching.
And just get on with it and be happy with what you got. And as I said, do those things. It's not a transaction.
Yeah, I think in whatever business it is, if it's retail, whatever it is, we do need to learn from that.
Keep communicating.
Communication is key.
Whatever I don't give a shit how sophisticated or unsophisticated it is. If it's a phone call, mate, go into a phone booth and put 20 cents or whatever it costs in the thing. Make a phone call. Talk to me.
Yeah, that's it.
But however you do it, I don't give a shit.
Don't leave me on scene.
Just talk to me, dude.
Yeah.
Well, John, you got any questions for me, mate?
Actually, I wrote some down, to be honest.
Cool.
Let's whip it out. All right. This is obviously a thing within my business. How do you manage the balance between being a boss and a friend with your staff? Especially, you have 14 people. You're there within each other's faces. You become very, very close. You start to hang out outside of work. How do you and when do you draw the line, and in what situations do you draw the line?
Well,
or you don't draw the line?
I know I do draw a line. So for me, I've always been older than my staff. So
I like that.
I've always, it was different in my early days at Wizard because there were a lot of people a lot closer to my age, but I always remained the proprietor. So let's say there's a function on, I never drank with anybody.
Love that.
And at a certain time at night, I would leave. I didn't want to be around to see them get untidy.
I like that.
So I don't care if they got untidy, but I would distance myself from that. So and I did that at Wizard. As a Yellow Brick Road and other businesses I have, like Mentored, for example, I'm much older than my staff. So it's not hard for me to do that because they don't want me hanging out with them anyway.
Yeah,
so I can distance myself quite easily. But at the same time, so I'd like to be a friendly boss. But at the same time, I also, it's my call at the end of the day too. So I make it pretty clear that I'm the dude because I'm the one taking all the risk and I'm funding it. So if something goes on, I want to be responsible. If something goes wrong, I want to be responsible for it, for the decision, because ultimately it will be my problem. But in terms of socializing, I always keep myself distance.
I get
As
you.
much as I really feel like hanging out and drinking and
For sure.
But I just go, that's just a pro forma for me. It's a non-negotiable. It's sort of being in your position. It can be a bit lonely too, because you do that on purpose. If you do it that way, it can be seen a bit lonely. But at the end of the day, it's just a business thing. I just say, well, who gives a fuck if it's lonely? It's my business. My private life is my private life. So I keep my private life really private. Totally separate. Harder for you when you were married, but now you're not married and you can keep I think you got to keep your private life. What I mean is those people who are around you, keep them protected. Still take your shirt off, whatever. But if there's a relationship with kids or another partner at some stage,
keep
them away.
Amen.
Yeah, totally keep it away. It's funny, I was watching the Prime Minister and his wife, Jen, being interviewed on 60 Minutes the other night, and I thought it's quite an unusual thing to bring your partner or your family into the boxing ring with you. With what you're going on, what's going on in your life, and of course, it sort of backfired on him a little bit, and he got beaten up big time by the social media, particularly Twitter. And that's the risk you run. And I think I don't know, I don't think I would have ever, if I was in his position, I would have ever done that. I don't think it helped him, I don't think, ultimately. And, then his poor wife, I shouldn't say his poor wife, but his wife now is getting absolutely hammered and she never stood for election. I just think in a business, particularly if you're a high profile person like you are, you've got to try and keep all those things out of the business.
Yeah,
And
I agree.
and let the business people, the people in your business, try to let them have their private lives.
Mhm.
Don't be part of it. It's
Yeah.
too dangerous.
Yeah, I agree.
And
I'll definitely take that on board. 100%. Yeah, it's been one of those things where I was kind of just, unsure. And, obviously there's situations, like you got obviously events, that I do sometimes.
you
because
go to the events, but you know when to go home.
Yeah.
But I'll give you Branson
Mm.
is not like that. Branson is there for the whole distance. He goes the whole night.
The whole way.
Invites them all to his house or his farm or his island. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Necker Island.
Yeah.
He does that successfully. I'm just saying what works for me.
What works for you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean Branson knows how to do it, but there must be he must draw a line at some stage.
At some stage.
But he's been doing it for 50 years.
Yeah.
But I think it's dangerous.
Yes. It can. Yeah,
it can fuck it up.
100%.
And so I'd just rather keep the danger away. That's a de-risking of something. For me.
De-risking. Yeah.
Really nice to talk to you. I
Likewise.
think you've done an amazing job. You're a young man. But I think and apart from all the great celebrities and the great outcomes you've got for them, the thing I think most highly of is the fact that you've nailed those three things and you've identified them: hard work, risk taking, that ability to put yourself in that situation, and probably the most important thing is believing in yourself. Well done. Congratulations, John.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on, and thank you for your time. I really appreciate it.
You're
Thank
most
you.
welcome.